Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of my vlog podcast thing. Tonight it's Thursday evening. Just finished here in the shop. It's been a busy one, and noticed a lot more cyclists are coming here. So really good. Season's definitely underway, and yeah, just thought I'd kick off with another episode. Hope you enjoyed it so far. So I've had, 2? So, woo, massive. And yeah, lots of people are asking lots of different questions. I'm trying to make notes of them, and other people who don't quite get it. And they message me on Instagram where it says, what question would you like to ask? And it just says, hi. And I'm like, so big hello to everyone. Hi to all those people from other countries that I don't understand the language of. But yeah, hey guys, good to meet you. Good to speak to you. But yeah, just to go over some of your questions and try and answer them. First of all, am I really heartbroken that Lance Armstrong blocked me on Twitter? Nah, don't give a fuck. He blocked me about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember if it was because I might have said something along the lines of I'm on more drugs than him, I'm riding longer on drugs than him. I probably was talking about my EPO I had to inject into my leg. So before the kidney transplant back in, when was it? So I had the transplant 2007. I think it was in 2006. I was diagnosed in December. Your kidneys actually produce erythropoietin, or EPA or EPO, depends on who you speak to. And when you have kidney disease or your kidney function is depleted, you can't produce EPO. EPO or EPO helps your red blood cells pick up oxygen with the hemoglobin, and so you become very tired, very anemic, and it helps boost you to a normal level. Obviously not a super boost like the likes of Lance, but yeah, as a kidney disease patient, we had to take it, and worst thing ever, I hated it, because you had to sort of like sit down. I don't know how diabetics do it, fair play to them, because I couldn't inject myself that frequently. Anyway, I may have said something along the lines of that, or it might have been, thinking about it, when I was trying to find uses for his books. I did actually in the end use them for my cat litter tray. They were really good at like tearing up. So it might have been as long as 8 years ago, come up to 8 years ago, when I first got Cav and Wiggo, my kittens back then. So it's not a new thing. He hasn't just blocked me. He blocked me a long time ago. And like I say, I don't care. And also, just to give a bit of feedback as well, so I don't think he doesn't care for me either. But for those that you are wondering, word on the ground is not many people are looking forward to seeing him here either. So I know quite a few ex-professional riders here, a lot of the cycling community, they just think he's a fucking idiot. So, whatever. If he makes the money, which I'm sure he will, there's enough people with a lot of money out there, then fair play. But I don't think they're too fussed if he comes or not, because let's face it, he's coming here because Mallorca is brilliant to ride. So it's not like he's found something new. He's not publicising anything new. It's been here a while, Mallorca. The roads have been fantastic for a long time. I'm new to the island. I've only been here 4.5 years, and I've only been riding here since 2012. But I'm new to cycling as well. I've only been riding for 10 years now. So in my eyes, that's really new. Which leads on to another question someone asked. How did I get into cycling? So again, I started cycling not long after my transplant. Had the kidney transplant for my mum in 2007, and where my kidney is placed, it's kind of like just in here, hence why my logo is where it is. Obviously not to remind me where my kidney is, but like in homage to my kidney. Because my kidney's here, when I used to play football, they said I could never play again in case I got elbowed or kicked, or it was more dangerous. So I wanted to find something new to do, and so I figured cycling would be really cool. So my dad bought me a bicycle. What was it? An Ambrosio Solero. Sounds like an Iceland to me. But he bought me a bike through his friend's shop up in Hunstanton in Norfolk called Fat Birds Don't Fly. So he bought that for me for a wedding present back in, when did I get married? Gosh, it was a distant memory. Fuck, getting married again. Back in 2008. So I had this bike and I used to go out on it, and I lived on the Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire border back in Luton in Bedfordshire. And I oh, it was the best. It was the best therapy ever. I didn't realise it then, but I hated my husband. And it meant I could get out, I could ride in the country lanes. I met some wonderful people. I joined a cycling club called CC Luton. And I remember a friend of mine who got me into cycling, a guy called Simon Gaywood, amazing cyclist, amazing racer. He said to me, Otti, if you want to get into a club and start riding with other people, if you call this guy, or if you go meet these people at this roundabout off the A6, it sounded all really dodgy to me. He said, if you can penetrate and get through their wanky exterior, they're really nice. And they are, they're really nice. And in fact, I think my £20 subs is due anytime soon. So I'm probably one of the distant members of CC Luton. There's a couple of us in the Balearic Islands now, so we're infiltrating from here. So got into cycling then, really enjoyed it. I just like the freedom of it, so the ability to find new places. Obviously it's expensive to start with. You're buying all the kit, you know, making sure you're not looking like a right knobhead, but also not giving a crap that actually you just wear what you want to wear. But things like in England, obviously you've got to stay warm and dry, have the right tyres, blah, 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 all those kind of things. So once I got into it, I realised actually, that's it, I've got all the stuff, and I could ride whenever I wanted. And so I was a teacher back then, so I'd finish teaching at the college like 4:30 and be able to get home and get on my bike and into the countryside, you know, and get a couple of hours in before the sun would go down. So, it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely amazing. And since, I've met so many really cool people. I've done some work commentating in cycling at various different races. I'll probably talk about a bit more in future vlogs, to give me some more content. But I've commentated, I've been on the back of a motorbike in professional men's and women's bike races, met some amazing people here, ex-professionals, cyclists, people who work on races, people who are directors of races, you know, and all these people become my friends as well. So it's quite strange to think that when someone says to me, you've got to give up a passion to then find something else, is just incredible. And only tonight, actually, I was talking to one chap that I was doing some physiotherapy work with, and I don't know his age, but I'm guessing he's 50-ish. And he said he only found cycling last year. And he was saying, how can someone later on in their career or later on in their life, how can they find something new they've never found before? And he was so proud because his wife had started cycling and she's doing some charity events. And he couldn't believe it. And so he came here I think he said in September, and he just said, the safest place, the most amazing roads and routes. And I know I probably will mention this every single episode, but unless you've been here, oh my days, you just don't even realise how good it is. And also, some people who say they get bored of Mallorca. I mean, how the hell can you get bored of Mallorca? There are so many ways, you know. If you've done all these different roads and different routes, do them the other way. Go the other way. Go to different coffee shops. Go to different places. Go with different people. Go at different paces. You know, there's so many things to do. So it was really nice to speak to someone who's new to the sport, because, like I say, I feel I'm relatively new. So that hopefully answers that question. And since obviously I've got a few more bikes, and the whole N+1 rule still occurs, and my original bike is I've still got it. So I'm hoping that my nieces, who have now got 2 bikes, that hopefully at some point one of them can ride that bike as well. So that was the answer to that question. What was the other one? The other one that made me laugh, I can't think of who said it, so apologies to who's asked, but why the quiff? Now, you can probably fast forward at this point if you don't really want to know about this mad, ridiculous hair. It kind of, I don't know, it's got a life of its own, to be honest. And at the moment, it's looking pretty crazy, because this is like 3 massages in, and all the goop and rubbish from treating people gets kind of like permeated in. Anyway, what happened was, I was a teacher back in Luton. God, it must have been, when was that? Probably 2011 was probably the year the quiff was born. Basically, I worked at a further education at FE College, and we had people from catering and leisure and tourism, public services. I taught sport and exercise science, or anatomy, and there was these lads who worked in the barber area, And they were always moaning that no one wanted to get their hair cut by them. And all the girls in the hairdressing course would get people, and all they would get was these old blokes or old women who wanted just like a short back and sides. And I was like, what? This is crazy. So I think it was every Thursday they'd have the open evening where you could go, don't have to pay anything. You can give them a tip if you want, you know, not like don't eat yellow snow or all that crap. Don't leave your bike unlocked. But you can give them a proper tip, providing they did a good job. So I saw them one day and I said, cut my hair. At the time I had a kind of nondescript bob type thing. Who knows what colour? I've not a fucking clue what natural hair colour I've got anymore. I mean, there's greys, there's browns, there's blondes, not a clue. So I said to them, cut my hair. I said, I'll come along, you do what you want. So I went there and I thought this is brilliant because they can go to town, do whatever they want, and my boss the next day can't even moan, because when he says, oh, you can't have your hair like this or blah, 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 don't matter. The students did it. So it's like an easy get out. So I went there and they started to shave a little bit of my hair on one side. I think it was this side. And the next day it was like, what the fuck have you done? So I kind of thought, actually, I quite liked it. It was quite kind of like basic, long here. And again, my boss pulled me into his office and sort of said, oh, you do realise that's not very professional, you know, to have a buzz cut on the side, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, perhaps, you know, you should think about it in future. And I was like, whatever, mate, the students did it. And the barber tutor for the barbers was well happy, because when people saw that I was getting a haircut, other people thought they could get a haircut as well, and the lads had more respect for me. And it just showed that, you know, you're willing to help. It's hair, it's fucking hair. It'll grow back, or it doesn't grow back, and then get a hat, whatever, it doesn't matter. And so since then, you know, I've cut other sides, I've put really weird lines in there, and I do it all myself. So the only time I get it cut is when, big shout out to Mark, my hairstylist slash barber slash whatever you want to call yourself. I don't know, do you have to call yourself a barber if you cut men's hair, and a hairdresser if you cut women's hair? Is there I don't know, whatever, but he's amazing. So Mark, he's a Bedfordshire lad as well, so he cuts it, and other than that, I do it, and it's pretty weird. But anyway, that's probably boring, and that's how it started, and it's quite aero, and it, like I say, has a life of its own, but that's that. So moving on, I've had the shop. Someone asked me how long I had the shop for, so I had this little shop since February 2017, so it'll be 3 years old next month. And yeah, little by little, it's getting more and more little things. So there's a phrase here called poc à poc. And if I just show you, it's one of my tattoos. This is my logo, so the O and the Q from my initials, and Mallorca and poc à poc. Poc à poc means step by step or little by little. And I think that kind of just sums up life. You know, here everything is really, really relaxed. Nothing happens too quickly, which when I first moved here, I found really frustrating. You know, you get up, you go for a ride, you know, you get your training in, or whatever else it is you want to do. Then you go to the bank, the post office, the supermarket, wherever, and it's closed. It's closed between 1 o'clock and 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's like, what do? They close for siesta. Now, as you get used to it, you understand why. Because it's too fucking hot here, okay? It does get really, really hot. Apologies for the swearing, but nah, whatever. You get used to it. You get used to only doing your things in the morning, or guess what? Do things in the evening. And things are open here longer and later. So you can go out for dinner. You'll see local people not have their dinner, their evening meal, till gone 10, 30, 11 o'clock. They've still got the little kids out, you know. It's a lot more social and everything is a lot more relaxed. So yeah, so poc à poc, everything is little by little. So that was that. What else? Yep, the tattoo, someone asked as well. Every year my transplanted kidney does well. I get a new tattoo just to sort of signify the end of another good year, being alive. Normally I have a year of like race goals and specific things I want to achieve, and each year I try to kick ass and try to do it. And I just think living it just itself, being alive is a big feat for me and many people, and I know mental health is more highlighted at the moment in the press and in social media, and being a transplant patient, I've got a lot of transplant friends, obviously. We all kind of walk around in the same groups. But it's hard. You know, a lot of people don't realise that as a transplant person, my kidney can reject at any time. Your organ can reject, it's not ours. We take immunosuppressant medication to stop it from rejecting. We take other drugs as well to help that drug or to interact with something else. And so there's always side effects. And currently, I have a big issue at the moment. And the cancer that I had back in 2007, 2007 I had the transplant. In 2013, my only kidney, my transplanted kidney, grew what they thought was a complex cyst, which turned out it was cancerous. It was a renal carcinoma. Guys down in Oxford managed to do a little bit of sewing and were able to take the tumour away, put the kidney back out and work really well. Unfortunately, it's back. So that's what I'm dealing with at the moment, which isn't great. You know, is what it is. It's been tough, and yeah, it's just constant hospitals, to be honest. Constant phone calls and scans and telling people what's going on. And I know everyone cares, and you know, and it's really good because it's times like these when, you know, what is it, when your chips are down? Is that a phrase? When things are bad, you realise who your friends are, and you also realise actually there's some real special people out there that will help when others won't. So yeah, mental health is massive, and for me, cycling is huge. I mean, 2 days ago, I went on my bike and I did what I called was mobility for the mind, mental mobility. And basically, it's one of those rides where you have no set distance, no set time, no set speed, and no set destination. And I tell you what, it was amazing. I went to go straight up the Col de Familia. For those of you who know it, it's the climb up to Yuc. And you go past Poyenta Old Town and you start climbing, and there was a massive headwind. And there was a guy on a bike called Carlos from Charlie's Bikes in Alcudia. And he said, hey, sit on my wheel. So I sat there and we're tapping along, and I looked down at the speed and I was thinking, yeah, I'm not going to maintain this for too long. So I had a little chat and then said thank you, and I peeled off. And I went down a little Camino's back of the Old Town, back of Alcudia, and just stopped for a coffee. And yeah, it was perfect. It's only, 50 kilometres, but it was perfect for my head. I sat there in the sunshine, lots of vitamin D, good for bone strength, by the way. So just linking with what I talked about previously in the last episode. As cyclists, we're low weight bearing, okay? We don't physically put a lot of weight through our bones, through our body, because we're on the bike. So vitamin D helps with bone strength as well. So if you're in a dark country, not good. If you're in somewhere with lots of sunshine, you're going to get vitamin D. But obviously be careful, put the old sun cream on, get the SPF 30 plus on. That leads me to the main topic. So I have waffled on quite a lot. I think these podcasts or vlogs are going to get a bit longer each time, but I'm going to have a main kind of topic for each one. Questions and answers at the beginning, main topic, and then probably me chatting a bit more rubbish. Sorry, quick drink. Today, I was going to talk about the weather, okay? Weather here on an island, okay? So the island itself is about 300 plus kilometres. They got a race here called the 312, where they used to do a whole lap of the island, but now they sort of go in between a bit. So it's 300 kilometres. We've got from the southwest to the northeast, you've got the Tramontana, the Serra de Tramontana mountain range, which came away when the island many, many years ago came away from the mainland. So we've got mountains which go, I think, something like 1,200 metres above sea level. You've got, pardon me, we've got the beach, obviously sea level, and we've got loads of rolling terrain in the mainland, inland. Therefore, we have our own microclimate. So where it can be beautiful and sunshine and warm here, it could be really shitty in the middle or really shitty in the south, or vice versa. If you come here and it's absolutely horrendous rain, wind, whatever here, you could go 10 kilometres south and it could be stunning. So Mallorca weather, what's it like? Well, that's the thing. $1 million question. What's it going to be like? I get this all the time. "Oh, I'm coming to Mallorca on April the 20th for 7 nights. What's the weather going to be like? I'm coming to Mallorca in October 2025. What's the weather going to be like? I don't know. I really don't know." Best thing to do is just look at different people's Instagrams, see what it's like. And also, I'll have to find it, but there's a website with a live camera here on the beach, updates every 15 minutes. So you can actually, if you're bored at work, log on and have a look, and it will show you exactly what the weather's doing right there and then. If not, obviously use other pages. There's one called Windy, which is a really good app. It doesn't measure your farts, it measures the speed and direction of the wind, and you can actually get a satellite image of where it's going over the island, so you can chase it or go away from it. So weather changes a lot. We tend to get rainy season normally around February and March, April time. But sometimes you can be lucky and not get anything. Like I say, 10 days ago we had a massive storm, and that's one of the biggest storms I've seen in 4.5 years. But January always tends to be good. Ranges between 12 and 20 degrees. They call it the new light. So when we come into the new year, friend of mine, only ginger person I know who got sunburnt in January, bless him. But also get into the summer months. So May all the way through till probably October. Fantastic weather. So if you can and you don't have to go by school holidays, I would say certainly come over here end of May into June. July and August, yes, it gets hot, and yes, it can get really, really hot, like up to 41, 42. So I would you can still ride, come over here, but get out early. Get out by 6 o'clock, 6 in the morning, 6:30, and then you're back by midday. Got a cracking ride in, and then you can hang out with the family, go to the pool, go to the beach, whatever. It's perfect. A lot of people think, oh, we can't ride there in summer, it's too hot. Yeah, you're not going to ride at like 3, 4 in the afternoon. You're nuts if you are. Okay, so get out early, get it done, enjoy it. The sunrises here are absolutely spectacular. So riding in summer is good. Busiest times at the moment tend to be March, April and May. Normally March, because the history of cycling here, people used to come here to train before the season starts. Now, as cycling has changed, more people cycle. More people race, but more people enjoy cycling for the health benefits and the enjoyment part of it. So it's getting busier. More hotels cater for cyclists. They have like garages and associated like stuff. They have their track pumps and other stuff that you can use. March, April, May, busiest times. October is a second wind of the season. So always, again, another nice month. But I would say, if you can, come over in September. We always call it the newlyweds and nearly dead season. So there's only like little tiny toddlers or older people. So come here then and you'll get everything. September is perfect. If you want to come when the pro season starts, pros tend to come here around the 8th or 9th of December, leave a few days before Christmas, and then they're back again first week of January. So that's really nice as well. But going back to the weather, when you come here, don't forget to pack all of the relevant things, okay? Yes, we're a holiday island, but not all year round, okay? So make sure you bring your race cape, your rain jacket, your base layer, legs, arm warmers, leg warmers. Bring those things. Hopefully you never need to use them, but just in case. When you go up into the mountains, there tends to be a difference of 4 to 7 degrees between down here and up there. And in summer, that's brilliant because it's too bloody hot down here. But in winter, it can get cold. So, you could be climbing up Col de Sabatea, the other side of Femenia, nice and warm because you're putting your effort in. And as soon as you get to the top at the petrol station, have a quick coffee and a nice piece of almond cheesecake topped almond cake. It's the best. You'll be there and you'll be about to turn right to descend Col de Femenia, and it's bloody freezing. So little race cape, race jacket, rain jacket in your pocket, or pop and see Pedro in the petrol station, buy a newspaper or get the free daily rag, pop it down your jersey, bit of extra warmth. It does get cold. Also, when it rains, it's not the same as England, it's not the same as many other places. The roads here aren't really meant for rain, okay? They are slippery as fuck, okay? So be careful. I've seen people have accidents where they've only they're not even riding fast and it's wet and they're just completely, the bike comes away from them. It's very dangerous. I mean, when you bring your bike, or if you hire a bike, like hiring a bike here, we don't have like 4-season tyres on. We have good tyres, but they're not meant for rainy days, okay? Have a day off, have a morning off. Do something you wouldn't do normally. I did give some suggestions last year. Those of you who follow me on Twitter will probably remember them. So I'll let you just take your mind back to what I suggested. But with the weather, just take it easy. Go and do something else. You know, it's mental. Why ride in the rain? Would you ride in the rain back home? I wouldn't. Nah, I don't. There's plenty of days. 306 days of sunshine here. You don't need to ride when it rains. Have a coffee, have some lunch, and guess what? It's probably going to be better later on in the day. So relax, tranquilo. You can always go to the Formentor later when it's dried up. Big tip there. With that, we've got a thing we've labelled here called Mallorca Fever, okay? How often would you ride your bike wherever you live? How many times? 2-3 times a week, maybe more. And I mean outside, okay? Turbos, rollers, you might be training 5, 6, 7 times a week, I don't know. Depends what you're training for or why you ride a bike. But here, if you can't ride every single day for 7 days or 14 days, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Relax. You've got Mallorca Fever, okay? Mallorca Fever is when you get off the plane, build your bike as quickly as possible. You don't torque wrench or check any of the bolts. So you go for a ride and your bars start dropping, your saddle starts going down. Okay, you've got Mallorca Fever. Get checked out, okay? Relax, rest off, check your bike. You've also got Mallorca Fever when you've got to ride every single day for however many hours a day and then neck as many beers as you can in the evening and then do it all over again the next day. Guess what? You've got Mallorca Fever. This isn't good, okay? Relax. It doesn't matter. Best thing about people who have Mallorca Fever are they come here to train, to get better, to get fitter. They train so hard every single day. They drink loads, they eat loads, they put loads of weight on. They get on the plane, the big germ box with everyone else's farts, coughs, burps and sneezes. They get home, they've got a cold. What's the point of that? You've wasted money, you've wasted your time, and you put kilos on. Okay, so just relax. Get a better kind of structure to your week. Make sure you know what you're doing. And if you've got a coach or a plan, stick to it. Then you're actually going to train. If you're here to not train but ride, enjoy it. You know, look up every so often, have a look around. I speak to people here and say, hey, where have you ridden to today? Over to Look, or over to Sawyer, or over to, which way did you go? Well, I don't know. I followed that guy. Hey, come on, this place is amazing. Have a look around. I think it was a Ferris Bueller quote. Something like, you know, you've got to look up and take a look around every so often. You know, things are going to change. So, come on. Life is worth looking around for, especially here. Okay. I've just seen the time. I have waffled on a lot today. Apologies, and if you want any more questions answered or anything covered, specifically Mallorca, cycling, Netflix recommendations, I don't know, I've just finished watching Sex Education Season 2, amazing. Might go and watch it again just because it was purely funny. But if you want to cover anything else, ask me any questions or, I don't know, anything, give us a shout. Again, subscribe to the channel if you want or don't. It's quite cool to get the feedback. And there'll be another one dropping within a few days, 2 a week, and we'll go from there. Take care, guys. Have a great evening. Adios.